The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki. Hello, it's me, Nikki. Welcome to the show. It's Nikki Glaser Podcast. I'm doing pretty good. It's Thursday when you're listening to this. If you downloaded it right away, it's actually Tuesday in our world. Just want to be totally honest with ye. I can't lie. I can't be like, because what if like a mass shooting happens? I mean, like 18 mass shootings will happen between now and Thursday, regardless. Mm-hmm. But what if like a big one, you know? I saw some meme that said like, I went to a support group for people, bereaved parents, and there was a woman that said, I lost my son 5 school shootings ago, and it was Friday. And it was like, why would she say it like that? I just don't believe that she said it like that. You know what I mean? When people try to be super poignant and you go, I don't know that this bereaved parent who lost her kid 2 days ago is going to make some like political statement with her grief.
Right. Something memeable.
Yeah. Yeah. I always love to meme when I'm
crying.
I think
that's the stage of grief.
Yes.
That's the 7th stage. How many stages?
What are the stages of grief? Okay, Anya's here. Brian is here. No one's in studio with me. Noah's in Arizona. I just want to set the stage for y'all. The stages of grief are denial, anger.
Yep. Depression.
Wallowing?
Depression.
Memes.
Elevation.
Mushrooms?
No, that's rice. No, it's. I was thinking of the where you
stop, drop, and roll.
Yeah,
those are the last 3.
Rice. Is that like the brat diet? Bananas.
No, that's rice. The rice thing. Is what you do if you like injure your leg. It's like rest,
ice,
compression,
elevate,
and elevation. Yeah.
We could be doctors, you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, what don't we know? No, what's the final stage? Is acceptance.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
what are the other ones, Noah?
It says bargaining. I never heard of
bargaining. That's where
my
you go,
favorite
come on.
one. That's my favorite one.
Is this Kubler-Ross?
Does it have to be this way? Maybe I can do something to fix it.
Yes.
And then finally, they always say no. They never say yes.
Well, the other night, Anya and I were texting about something that we were either she was upset about or I was upset about. And I just said, you just got to accept something. And she was like, acceptance is the answer to all of your problems. And that really stuck with me. It's like, it really is the answer to all of it.
And then I said it in the What About Bob voice. Have you guys seen it?
I don't know that. I mean, yes, I do remember that movie, but I remember him just like tied to a mast of a ship. I remember like certain things about movies.
It's when Dreyfus gives Bill Murray
baby steps.
Yes, he gives him a prescription because he's so fed up with him at this point. He keeps stalking the family, and then he's like, "Here," and he writes a prescription. It says, "Take a vacation from your problems." Then Bill Murray goes, "Take a vacation,"
and then he meets him on vacation.
Yes, right. Well, he's already there at Lake Winnipesaukee. I don't remember a lot of my life or who I was friends with in high school, but I remember weird snippets of What About Bob.
You probably watched that movie a lot, though, I'm guessing.
Yes.
What about Anya? What was she going through at this time?
I don't know. A breakup or 2?
Yeah. Acceptance is it. I mean, it's like, you just want to get to that stage of grief, though. I don't know that I've grieved that much in my life. I think I just like skip it all. I just don't even want to.
I grieve every day. I grieve about things that haven't happened yet. I grieve for the future deaths of all things that I love, and I feel like that's not good because all day I'm just sad and anxious, and I wonder why. You know, so at some point, and I've never learned to accept anything. I will fight against the reality of the universe until my dying breath. I will never accept it.
Are you always disappointed in yourself? Like that's for me, acceptance is about more myself than others, or like the idea of death. Like I kind of, every so often I turn to Chris on the couch and I just go, God, we have to fucking die someday.
Yeah.
Does that suck? Like, wait a second. We really, like, we are going to die. We're going to be dead. And like, it just seems like, oh, it's just a lot of work. To even like him dying is going to be a lot of work for me. I have to like go find an outfit of all black that like shows that I'm respectful, but that I'm going to like, maybe I'll meet someone there.
Have you let him know how much he's putting you out by potentially dying?
I mean, he promised me he was going to die at 33. That was always what he said. Or maybe it wasn't 33, 37. And I used to scream at him. Yeah, he was 32 when I met him, and I said, "Stop saying that." But
no, that is the worst part about death is just how inconvenient it is for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. That's what keeps me from killing myself quite often. I mean, it's one of my jokes is that anytime I've even really thought about taking that step off the building or whatever it is, like the next step that would lead to the step, I just go, I can't do this to people, and not that it's going to make everyone so sad. I really don't want my mom to have to clean my room. She did that for 30 years of my life. I mean, my mom has cleaned my room my whole life, and I just don't. She's already grieving. Don't put her through that. And there's no way I'm going to do it beforehand. So I keep living.
You have anything hidden that you wouldn't want discovered?
I am kind of an open book. Unfortunately, I have no secrets. My journal is literally an open book that I leave out in highlight sections, so my mom will read it and she'll understand my pain.
That was the biggest understatement of 2023. I am kind of an open book.
I am, and you should have some secrets.
You got to have a secret. You should.
Okay, I gotta get one.
Because then when your mom's cleaning your room, she can be like, "Oh my God. Nikki was a scuba diver instructor?" You know, something like that.
Like a separate life, like a thing, a skill I have. No, if I have any skill, I'm letting people know. That's how I have value, is that I have things that I can do that other people can't, and that's how I esteem myself. But okay, so I get sad about people like having to die. Do you ever have to accept like, well, this is as far as I'm going to make it in life. Like I'm never going to be that. Like Chris and I were recently talking about this idea of like, I've talked about in therapy so much Taylor Swift. Like as much as I love Taylor Swift, seeing her and finding out that she's coming out with a book probably in July that's going to be like 500 pages. I'm just like, I can't imagine. I just will never live up to what she is. And most people don't need to have the idea that they can live up to the artist they love the most. But I do. Like, I want to be in that ballpark. And I'm just not. And I get further away every accomplishment she has. And I struggle with it. And I was telling Chris this, that, you know, there's like letting go of things in life you'll never get to do. And he said that he had to let go recently of dunking. He'll never dunk. And like he could have dunked. I mean, there are guys that have like a strong enough vertical at his height that could dunk. At 5'9", Chris could dunk if he trained correctly.
Oh yeah,
but he at his 41-year-old body, yeah, he can't. He'll never dunk probably, and he has to let go of that. He did lower there was a lowered hoop at this gym he was at, and it was for kids, and he dunked on it, and he did dunk that, but he said it was so embarrassingly low. But I said,
that's
dunking
an analogy.
Is the perfect analogy to fertility. I will never dunk. If I let this go until I'm 43, mama, no dunk. I'm not going to ever dunk. Like men have
no,
men have to
you won't even be a mama. You can't even say that phrase.
Oh yeah.
She's going to be 80
no
and
dunk.
like,
I'm going to be
like
daughter's not dunking. And America runs on Duncan.
I was to say that.
Waiting for that.
Well, it was a funny. It was funny to me, the comparison, because dunking is, I think, a kind of symbol of masculinity or strength that men kind of. I mean, is to you, Brian, was dunking a thing that you wanted to do?
No, but I think you have a lesson to learn here, which is that maybe you need to lower the hoop. Because you could have a baby and just immediately give it up for adoption. There's a lot of things you can do to lower the hoop on this.
I'm talking about fertility. I want to still be fertile. I don't want a baby, though. And that will be taken from me. My ability to house a child in a womb is going to be stolen from me soon. And that bothers me because I want to be able to do anything I want to do at any time. Even though I don't want to do it, I still want to be able to do it.
Oh, yeah, I don't understand that. I can't understand.
But you do, because you'll never be able to. Can you dunk?
No, I can't dunk. I'll never be able to dunk.
Is there something you've let go of like, I wish I could do this and I'll never get to do this?
No, and
or like I want to maybe be able to train to do that someday, but not right now. But then you're like, wait, I'm too old to even train to do it.
I haven't experienced that yet. I think for two reasons.
Wow.
One is I never give up, and number two, number two is I have very low expectations. So it's a lot like Taylor Swift, where she's on stage and people are cheering for her and she's like, oh my God, guys, thank you. I feel like that sometimes, where it's like, I can't even believe I can, like, I'm trying to play piano. And it's like, sometimes I'm like, I can't even believe I can play a scale. And so I feel good about just that.
Yourself.
Yes.
Because you're lowering the hoop.
I lowered the hoop. I lower the hoop on all things.
Well, Brian, one of the most endearing stories of Brian to ever be told was his quest to learn how to dance. Have we talked about this on the podcast?
No.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Brian Frangie realized at the age of, I'm going to say 27. How old were you back then? This was when we were starting Not Safe.
Yeah.
You were living with Tim Convey, my boyfriend's brother.
4:30.
And why did you want to learn how to dance? You didn't know how to dance at a party, or like if you were to encounter music at a concert, you had no clue what to do with it.
Yeah, I really was pathetic. I would look embarrassing, and it all happened. One day I went to my friend's wedding, and one of my friend's wives saw me dancing and laughed at me.
Oh.
And I was so embarrassed.
That'll do it.
Yeah, I was so embarrassed, and I was like,
what was she making fun of? What were you up to when you were dancing out there? Were you free and then she ruined your freedom? Like, were you already self-conscious?
Worse. You know what? If I was free, I would be fine with it. But instead, I was trying, and I was bad. And that is
so you're probably already looking for people to make fun of you. So when she caught you, you probably looked guilty, and then she took that as a sign of, oh, I'm going to mock this.
She actually has apologized since then, even though I don't even think it's that person.
Oh.
She remembered laughing at me at a wedding, and then she came many years later and apologized.
It was a different person than you remember laughing. You're like, there are more than one.
It wasn't even her that was laughing at me.
Assassination. She was over on the grassy knoll.
She was on the grassy knoll. There was somebody in the book depository laughing at me.
Okay, so
but
you
it goes
went to
back
this wedding.
even further.
Yeah.
It goes back even further to when I was...
year?
When I was in high school, I used to, or even younger, I used to do this thing called the punch dance, which
we
was
can all imagine what that is.
Yeah, which is basically I would just be like spazzing out, punching as fast as I can, out of control, and then
would you do that as a comic relief type thing? People would laugh, obviously, or were you?
Yeah,
was that
but
just...
it became like you ever see like I think it's from the Goonies where there's that one kid Chunk. And they all go like, do the chunk thing. And then,
yes.
So like he would do it and he would get laughs, but it was like, you know,
laughing at him.
Yeah. And so I had my friends who knew about the punch dance and they were laughing with me, but it got to the point where, you know, everybody.
It's all you knew.
Yeah. And so like at my prom.
God, I bet you have a great story surrounding your prom too. And the date you picked and the one that said no.
I actually do, but
of course.
I'm going to focus in on
so let's focus. Sorry,
the punch dance. I was at the prom and a chant began. Do the punch dance, and I had a decision to make. A circle formed. They said, "Do the punch dance,"
circle.
and I was like, "This is like dance prostitution. This is like I'm going to sell my
you
dignity."
Had a decision to make.
Yeah, and I chose to do the punch dance.
Of course you did.
Yeah, I did.
Are they yelling punch, Brian? Punch, punch.
And they're all laughing at me and they're all pointing and all the popular kids are like, I don't even know what this is. That was the most embarrassing part.
Oh, God.
I'm just like, I have this little circle halfway down the popularity chain that's like punch dance. And
they're all in on it.
And the
popular kids are like, ew.
Yeah.
Confused, left out. And so they judge it and mock it. Yeah.
Yeah, so many years later, I was laughed at the wedding, and I decided, this was before I went on my year of dating, I decided I just want to be able to learn how to casual dance.
Dance, that's the word.
I'm not talking like salsa. I'm not talking like, hip hop choreography. I just want to be able to be at a party or a bar or a wedding and not get laughed at.
Yeah, I think this is something that people struggle with. I know that I have before. I never danced before I started drinking, and then that freed up a lot of my insecurity, and then I would dance freely when I drink, and then when I stopped drinking I couldn't really get that back, and then I did Dancing with the Stars and kind of realized it doesn't matter, and now I realize no one's watching you. It's kind of like when you go to the gym, you think everyone's looking at you, but everyone's kind of focused on themselves. That wasn't true for you at that wedding, but I do think that there's something about
that would be embarrassing if it was
dancing. It's hard for some people, especially me. Like, how do you do it right? I remember going to a concert with Kirsten in 8th grade. Lauryn Hill we went to, maybe 9th grade. It was, during her first tour off that album, The Miseducation. And we went to it, and it was our first concert alone. And there was this girl in front of us who was dancing, and she just put her hand behind her back and was just kind of like sliding with her hand, like just her fist like resting on her butt, like, and it looked so cool that I danced like that for so long. I'm just like my hand gently behind my back because it just looked so cool. But I had no other idea of how to dance. And even when I see pictures of or video of myself dancing now, it's embarrassing because it's just doesn't look like someone who has grace, And I have Grace's AirPods, but do I have natural grace? No. That was my attempt to get grace. But but now I guess I just don't care that much, so I'm free. And I feel like when I love a song, my love for a song is so apparent in the way that I dance that someone can be a better dancer than me, and it doesn't matter because I'm connecting to what I'm listening. Like, whatever comes out of me is perfect.
100%.
And I don't feel encumbered by it. But you went on a mission to learn how to casual dance, and you found an instructor.
Yes. So one day I put on my best dancing shoes and I walked to the 3rd Street Dance Studio. I walked right in, no appointment, and I stumbled upon this guy.
Walk-ins welcome. This isn't great clips. You can't just walk into a dance studio. This is amazing.
I started knocking on doors. There was like, what? And I found this guy an instructor who wasn't teaching at the moment, named Darian Hip Hop Henning. And he is the man. And I said to him, "Excuse me, I want to learn how to casual dance."
That's not even a type of dance.
No, it's not.
And
it makes sense because we all know what that means,
but
it is
be a
not
class for that.
Yeah.
And he said, "What are you talking about?" And I said, "I just want to learn how to dance at a party," like I said. And he said, "Well, I can do that for you." And because there's no classes. Go on the internet, Google casual dance. Google.
Well, there's YouTube videos, correct?
I don't need to.
You found them.
Before I found Darian Hip Hop Henning, I found YouTube videos.
Because Tim walked in one day, and you were dancing in front of your computer to a dance instruction video, right?
Yeah.
Can I see what this looks like?
I really want to see. So how many classes did you take with Darren Hip Hop Hennings?
I took weekly one-on-one lessons with him for 2 years.
What?
2 years? 2 years?
Because
we're talking
did you get a degree?
Lessons.
We became friends, and I would go and hang out with him, and we would, there was times when I would go to the park with him, and I would film on his phone or his camera.
And he would do dances.
He would do dances for his Instagram. So I enjoyed just going and talking to him about stuff and dancing, and it became just so much more.
Did you get good? Did you feel like the way you feel at piano, where you're like, wow, I saw improvements?
Yeah, I did feel pretty good about where I was, but I'm certainly not good at dancing. I don't claim to be good at piano either, but I am not, mark my words, going to be laughed at my wedding or anywhere
else. At your
else.
Wedding.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to do some sort of special dance?
No.
Have you already picked out like your song? Don't you got to dance to a song that's like your song or something?
We do have a song. It's a slow dance though. So
what's the song? Can you reveal it, or is that?
I do not know if I'm allowed to reveal it. So
got it. Yes. Okay. What's her dress look like? Just kidding. Okay. So you're going to be able to casually keep up with everyone dancing at your wedding. I'm so excited to dance at your wedding. It's like very soon.
Yeah. It's 50 days, 49 days. And what you said before about dancing is what is most important. And that is, as long as you are enjoying yourself and having fun, connecting to the music, there is nobody that can laugh at you.
So what's the biggest difference between Brian pre-Hip Hop Hennings and Brian post dance lessons?
Probably my knees. It was a lot.
So they're supposed to be bent at all times, right?
He taught me how to.
Isn't that what you learned?
Keep the beat,
a beat
up
with
and down
your
in your knees. Not like hoe down knees, but it's like comes from your hip. And make sure you keep that beat. And then you start doing other stuff. And he's taught me steps. He taught me different moves I can do. I said, what do I do with my hands though?
Right.
You know,
yes.
and he taught me what to do with my hands. That wasn't just like, white guy stuff.
Punching.
And he said, if all else fails, put one hand in one of your pockets.
Oh my God, the Glaser.
You'll look so cool. Yeah, do the Glaser.
Yeah.
So he taught me all these moves. And then over the course of time, I knew like 10 moves that I could do smoothly. And that's enough.
That's enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Do you grab your crotch? That's a big thing you should be doing.
Yeah, grab the
no one does
crotch,
that.
spin around in a circle. I put
tight
a finger
circle.
in the air and go left to right with my finger.
Well, maybe we'll get a little demo from you at some point. But this sounds really good. I want to talk about other times where we've just taken a chance and like tried to... You know what's remarkable about this is not that you learned to dance, like who cares, or that you felt insecure about dancing. You sought out someone to teach you because that's really hard to, in front of someone who's a good dancer, to be terrible so novice. But you didn't have a problem with that. I want to look into this a bit more. We have lots to talk about on the show. We'll be right back. When you first met Derek Hip Hop Jennings,
Darian
Hip Hop Hennings.
Yeah.
I can't believe his parents knew that he was going to be a dancer and named him that. Were you in? Because I remember, I can only think about myself all the time. But when you,
well, Darian's brother's name was Stephen Math Teacher Hennings,
and he's a mechanic. So what? It's so embarrassing the first time you have to like. That's why I don't like taking guitar lessons, because I know the person teaching me is so advanced that they're going to be like disgusted by what I do. Like, and of course I don't feel this way when someone asks me to help them write a joke or something and they're so bad at it. I'm not like, you should kill yourself, but I feel that way
but
when
sometimes.
people witness. I mean, honestly, the honest truth is, yeah, maybe I do think that sometimes. Like, how could you be so bad at this? And I'm so mean about people being bad at something I'm good at that I think everyone's going to be mean to me about something that I'm bad at. And they are. I mean,
isn't there
Gleb
sometimes...
Shevchenko was devastated when he saw my moves.
Sometimes if you see a comedian, and I'm not like some great comedian or anything, but sometimes you see a comedian and you're like, that person should definitely quit.
Yes.
Don't you ever get that?
Oh, yeah.
One time I was doing a, Sarah Schaefer and we had our MTV show and we were doing some kind of like Google chat live where, our fans could ask us questions and they were asking for advice about stand-up. And this one person was struggling with it and like, how do you make it? And I was just like, she gave all this great advice, which I would normally give as well. And then I said, and just also know that like, if that all doesn't work out and it's not happening for you, feel free to like quit. Like you don't like.
No one's telling you have to do this.
Honestly, when I have to say, when people ask, like, how did you make it? Or like, what do you do to be a comedian? I've said this before, but it bears repeating. I think you don't have what it takes, because I think this is probably the same for music, Anya. You just do it. You like the process of it, like we were talking about, so much that it doesn't matter. The practice and all of the hard work don't feel like work. They don't feel like things you need to like figure out. They're just the natural progression of you exploring this thing you love and that you enjoy. So when people are like, what do I do? How do I get on stage? I'm just like, I never once was like, what do I do? I'm just like, all I have to do is just do it a bunch. And it wasn't hard to do it a bunch because I fucking loved it.
Have you ever had something that you pursued that just felt like swimming upstream and like you quit?
Yes.
Like what?
Guitar. In the past, guitar, saxophone, singing.
You played the saxophone.
Yeah. In fourth grade, when everyone has to like play an instrument, I had no clue how it worked.
That is so cool.
It was not. I just faked it every day, and I cried so much because my dad really wanted me to be musical, and he always kind of like he always talks about this note I wrote him because I remember writing it and because I couldn't tell it to his face that I was going to quit an instrument. But I wrote him a note and I was like, Dad, I'm so sorry because I know all the money you spent at Mel Bay on this saxophone and I just hate it and I don't want to do it and I'm quitting and you can't talk me out of it. And I wrote this whole letter. I wish he would have kept it because I remember it being very sweet and him being like, Nick, I don't care. Aww. And I was like, I promise I'll play another instrument. This is just isn't the one. It's the same way I still talk when I like write emails to people like, I can't do your podcast right now, but down the road, I always like I need to down the road give you something of myself that I can't even give you down the road because it's not enough for me to just have a clear boundary of like, this is where it ends, Papa. Yes. I'm not gonna be in any like brass bands anytime soon. He didn't care at all. I did the same thing when I quit guitar. I had to like have like a because he spent I always felt bad about the money they spent on lessons and I was a failure. But you know, even writing songs, I feel that way about. It's just so difficult for me, and I don't enjoy the process. I'm not like. I don't even care that song's bad. It's like, that song's bad. Taylor Swift would never write a bad song. You're trash. Stop doing this. You're a joke. And it's like, none of it's fun. And I'm waiting for a way to figure out how to do it because it's something I really want to do. I'm waiting to find a way to enjoy the process. I'm trying different ways of doing it so that I can tap into that. But you know what I'm not doing is asking musicians over and over like secrets for how they like did a beeline to success. Like I'm realizing that it's going to be a hard road to hoe.
Yeah. It just takes time. And
if someone gave me a record deal right now because they heard me sing on That's My Jam last night on NBC at 10/9 Central on That's My Jam, but hosted by Jimmy Fallon, I was even thinking today, like my little dream in my head is like someone goes, wow, she's really great. I'm going to give her a record deal. Well, she already has a name. I would turn it down because I don't want a fast track. I want to grind it out and be good and accomplished through my own, like, I just want to I want to fail a lot. And which is ironic because I just said when I fail, I compare myself to Taylor Swift and I quit. So I don't know what the solution is.
But you did it with stand-up. I mean, when you first started out, you were just failing over and over again.
Felt bad when I failed because I knew I was really good at it. I knew I was naturally better at this than most people. I could kind of take a census of the room and go, I have a knack for this more than anyone who's at a beginner level. I just do. And, you know, that's with everything. People have natural inclinations to things, but do you ever watch a child like savant play piano on Instagram or Reddit and you just go, what is the point of me doing any like why should I even show up for a lesson today? What
I think that all the time.
I should just throw this keyboard at the possum cage in the backyard and call it a day. Like I think it all the time when I see these little virtuoso kids. I saw this video of these North Korean kids just like zombies, like these 4-year-olds playing like perfect guitar, like just shredding on guitar, all in like, you know, in sync with each other. And they're like smiling like robots. And I was just so jealous of these North Korean children.
It's the
Their
end
lives
of days.
are miserable outside of that. There's a fucking gun. There's a fucking, you know, laser dot on their head. If they screw up one note, their lives, you know, they can't be good over there. But I was still like, what's the point of you doing this? But I guess the point is that I could have some emotion in my shitty guitar playing that they are devoid of because they aren't allowed to have any live. So it just sounds like, you know, just a AI machine playing.
And they don't grow up like you never hear stories of them growing up to be successful in the entertainment industry.
Yeah, you're right.
It's really cool that
they would sweep us.
You had the awareness to be able to assess yourself, which is very rare. And I think very rare in life that you have a clear enough perspective about yourself to be able to give yourself objective, real feedback. Like you saying, I know I'm good at this and I have a knack for this. Like most of the time we're way too hard on ourselves and we can't properly assess ourselves. So the fact that you had that is really cool. And I always tell people when they ask me advice, go where things are flowing. You know, like you're saying, you're getting the laughs. It's easy. It's
go to my vagina 4 days of the month. Yeah.
You know, Anya, I took you more seriously there because you were waving a pen around. Did you ever feel that way? When you were talking, you were pontificating with this Sharpie.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, she's making a lot of sense.
Go to where it's easy. Go to where it's... But I like things that are hard.
Well, it can be hard, but it's like you said,
you enjoy the hard.
Yeah. And like, I remember stressing out so hard at one point in my life. I had been a DJ on the radio for nearly 10 years, and I was just hating it toward the end, just absolutely hating it. And I had a job that so many people would have killed for in San Diego, midday.
Why did you hate it?
I was
San Diego midday, like drive time DJ.
I was dying to be a singer-songwriter. I had all these songs I'd written. I had made a record by myself. I was dying to be on tour and playing my music. And I just felt like it was soul crushing every day. And this used to be my dream, being on the radio. You know, I grew up listening to Howard Stern, and I finally got in there, and I'm like, middays in San Diego, Market 14 or whatever it was. Great job, like benefits, everything. And I'm just playing Smashing Pumpkins and wanting to kill myself every day. And
wow.
I mean, I'm exaggerating, but I was not happy. And I remember getting my first song, Miss Halfway in Grey's Anatomy. And it was like, whoa, I got in Grey's Anatomy. It's in the season. It's like finishing the show. I got a big check. I couldn't believe it. And I was just like,
how big was that check? What are we talking?
I think it was
I know that I'm interested.
$16,000.
This
doesn't happen anymore, by the way.
You can almost go to one Taylor Swift concert with that.
This doesn't well, that for me was like probably, I don't know, a third of my income.
So much
yearly
fucking
income.
money. No.
So,
I mean, that's an insane amount.
It's
That's
insane.
like a car.
And I had a car
It's a Subaru.
that was like, had been hit in the middle of the night and hit and run, but I could still barely drive it. And so I bought a used car with that check, I remember. And it completely changed my life. And then I started getting more and more syncs. Like they would put another song in Grey's Anatomy. And then I was like,
that's what it's called, is a sync?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I was confused. I don't know the lingo.
Okay, but she also didn't own a sink, and so she would go to Lowe's and she would.
Yeah, I don't know. They
let it sink in.
Synchronize the
Elon
music
Musk.
to the picture. I think that's where it comes. I don't know. But yeah, that's when I started going, maybe the universe is kind of trying to show me there's like a flow happening here. I'm getting paid for this.
That's why it's a sync.
Yes.
There's a flow.
And then I got a record
It just
deal.
was easy.
It was easy, and something was happening, you know, like I could feel the
You're getting
momentum.
feedback.
Yeah. And
Yes, the universe was telling you it was this. You were on the right track.
And a friend of mine who I loved and trusted was like my friend O, who passed away a few months ago. He was always on my ass, like, you're such a chicken shit. Just quit now. You should quit the radio now and go on tour. And I'm like, dude, I love you and your faith in me. I got nothing. I got a record on a bookshelf that nobody bought, and I'm playing a coffee shop twice a week. Like, I have no following. I have no money saved. And, but he was like, just do it. Quit now. I'm like, I'm going to quit when there's a lily pad I can jump onto. And then I got the lily pad, and I was like, okay, now I can quit my job. And that's just how I think things work.
But it takes someone believing in you for sure. And that's why it's like so important to give compliments very freely when you notice people are talented. And that's what sucks about so many people are so jealous of people's talent that they withhold compliments. Like so many people I bet have been, just sidelined from like where just, what's the word for it when you're driving and then you veer off the road, whatever that is, you get discouraged because no one encourages you, and most of the time it's out of jealousy. So I mean, yeah, you can probably really suck sometimes and no one's saying anything, and you should maybe listen to the silence.
Sometimes you just need a Korean military person with a sniper rifle telling you to continue.
Sometimes you need someone promising you a bag of rice if that your family will be able to survive the winter if
the
you
more I
are
think
able
about
to
it,
execute this perfect solo.
Those North Korean children playing guitar actually is not so bad, because I think like there could be people, at least they're playing guitar. There could be people who are like, you have to be, you have to dig ditches, and they're still holding the gun to your head.
Their tiny little hands were playing regular size guitars, by the way. And I'm looking at my niece Poppy, who is just all over the place, naked constantly, you can't even hold on to her for 2 seconds to focus. And the idea that she could like just like in sync with a bunch of other like how they do that is really scary to me, how they can control kids that much, like what the abuses those kids must face, because it's just impossible to imagine a child behaving that way with 6 other children perfectly and doing things on guitar that you can in your wildest dreams could not do. And they're 4. It was so upsetting in so many ways, but mostly because of my ego. But yeah, I think that you need to encourage people to, when they are good at something, especially. But you should also look for but what about when you love something so much and you suck at it, but you love it? It's flowing, but money is not flowing, or opportunities aren't flowing, but it's still your dream.
Enjoy it at home.
You keep doing it. Yeah. But what if part of it is performing? Like, these are when people have been auditioned for American Idol and they're like so off key, terrible. And you go, who could have ever convinced this person that they were good? Like,
who encouraged
what is going
them?
on
Who
here?
lied to them?
Who did this?
Who lied to them and told them that they could do this and put them in this embarrassing situation?
There should be an offshoot show called "Who Did This to You?" And we find who encouraged these people and like what kind of families they come from that make them think that this is okay.
I honestly believe like there's something for everyone in this world, and what we find to be like, really, that's not really talent. There's going to be one person at the end of the world who is going to love it.
Who likes someone singing totally off key. Really?
Yeah, there's a Greek restaurant on the Upper West Side that's going to hire you to play an hour's worth of
Why
covers.
Greek? That's so
I don't know.
racist.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I don't even know. Is Greece a race?
I know
No,
the
it's
Greek
nationality.
restaurant you're talking about. They have terrible singers.
I've played a Greek restaurant before when I was not great. No, I think Noah's right. You can probably find a place. But if you can't find a place after months of searching, just enjoy it in your own home. Why do you have to earn a living at this? Because or go on the street
or on YouTube.
Busk.
YouTube, yes.
There you go.
Start a YouTube channel.
There's plenty of talentless hacks who have succeeded on TikTok and YouTube, and they don't.
Yes.
They're shit.
Yeah.
There's so much garbage on YouTube, and you could probably be way more successful than any of us.
I was at a craft fair this weekend in Nashville. My mom and I were walking through,
Oh, yeah.
and the amount of crap that these people devote their lives to making, it really depressed me because maybe it didn't depress me. Maybe it was sweet. Maybe there's something sweet about it that this man makes brooms out of like old guitar necks or whatever. Like, or this one guy was making like an anteater out of an old Harley Davidson body plus a gas tank and then like a gas nozzle for its like shit that you would. It's just the ugliest stuff you've ever seen, and it's and people care so much, and they put up a booth, and they get a card, and they get a sign, and they hire someone to make a graphic for them for their. It's so crazy to me, and to me, I just guess it's something to keep them busy so that their husband doesn't have to talk to them.
Yeah, it's amazing how much bad art there is. My dad's always sending me emails with the subject heading incredible. And then I open it and it's like always like the most bizarre. He likes art that's like really, really realistic. Like, okay, it's like
it looks like a photograph.
Yeah. And I'm like, why do you like this? Or he's into like weird cats dressed up as Harlequins. I'm like, you like this? Like,
that's where I go. There is something for everyone. Where the Noah thing, kind of like art, like just graphic art, visual art.
Yes.
There is something for everyone because you see clothing people make, and you go, who would ever want to wear this bedazzled vest that says like that has like a skull smoking a cigar on the back of it, like just ugly shit. And there's someone out there that will like it, and it's so funny to me, and why you wouldn't want to make something that, but maybe the person making it likes it. I guess I can't judge. There is something for
the theory is if you like it
for every lid.
If you love it, then someone else. Well, someone else might love it then, because you're one person and you love it. Chances are, the billions of people in the world, there's gonna be one other person who loves the thing too that you're making.
Yeah,
not that it's worth a career, and I don't think it's worth. If you love it, then that's fine. But I don't think you should risk your family's dinner on it.
I guess I just really get scared that maybe I'm so unself-aware that people could be mocking me without me knowing it and being like, she thinks she's fucking talented. Like the way that I mock them. Again, it comes back to me. I'm judging these people. I'm worried that someone's going to think of me that way. Like, Anya, you were having this stress about your teeth, right?
Yes.
Will you explain some of that?
I've had a rough 48 hours. It's been a dark night of the soul 2 nights in a row, but I'm better now. I'm on the other side of it.
That's a funny way to say it. Sorry, I'm laughing.
I stole that from Kate. My friend Kate always says that. I'm in my veneers. It's a journey. I thought I was done. And then I just kept looking at them and I was just like, they're too long. They're just still too long. I still don't know.
How much time are you spending looking at them in the mirror?
Like, I'll be on a Zoom and I'll just be like, God, my teeth look like chipmunk teeth. Anyway, then I went to see my dermatologist in New York yesterday, and I'm like, can I ask you something? You're like a beauty expert, and I just want to know. I'm going a little crazy with these teeth, and I just wanted to ask you about my veneers, my forefront veneers. I don't even finish my question, which was going to be, do you think they're a little too long and I should have them shaved down just a hair? And she goes, yes, the forefront teeth are much darker than the rest of your teeth.
Oh, brutal.
I wasn't
no.
gonna ask about the shade, and then I started obsessing about them. Like, are they? I just had some tea, so that might be it. She goes, they're definitely darker than the rest. I'm like, fuck me. And then she goes, but yeah, they are too long. I would say, and I'm like, okay, thank you. And then I thought,
another thing.
What, Nick?
Man,
and also
this
too
is a
big.
dangerous game asking. And I've never once asked, I don't know if you've ever noticed this. I've never once asked, if I have an insecurity, I never ask you, is my nose big? Is my forehead too long? Do I look fat in this?
That's true. You never
because
do.
I will never, ever ask, because you're either lying to me or you confirm the thing I'm scared of more than anything in the world. Asking someone, do I look fat in this? Which is like this classic, oh, my wife asked me, do I look like...
No, that's a recipe for disaster.
No one ever. I'm telling you, women, protect yourselves. Protect yourselves and do not ask people for feedback on your looks ever. Stop this game.
They could also be wrong. They could also be dead wrong.
Of course. And guess who serves to make money off you by telling you don't look good enough?
Jeff
Bezos.
A dermatologist. Sorry, they're in this one in particular. I like her a lot. I've seen her before too, but I would never ever ask my dermatologist about my face, even though that's their job to assess it and give you recommendations. No, thank you, because it does not behoove you to tell me that my face is perfect the way it is.
My
that
question
doesn't give
was
you any
different
money.
from, I have an insecurity and I want you to, it's different from, do I look fat in this? Because that's a pointless. You were like,
do my teeth look long?
You can't change your fat immediately, And I was wanting to shave these down, and I just wanted someone else to be like, I kind of see what you're talking about, which she did. So I was relieved, and I did have them shaved down a little because a lot of people were like, I think they look fine. My mom was like, yes, too big, shave down. So I did, and I'm happier.
Don't ask a immigrant.
Oh my God.
From Eastern Europe. For anyone from Eastern Europe about your looks, if you're looking to feel good about yourself, don't ask, because they're going to give you an honest answer that is going to be heartbreaking. And
the people from Eastern Europe, they can't judge looks. They can't judge music.
Do you ask your girlfriend? Do you ask your fiance, Brian, like things about your looks? Do you ever do the kind of do you ever do because I guess my question is, a lot of times I read memes where girls will be like, would you love me if I was a worm with a blue worm and all I could do was yodel? And the guy's like, I don't think so. And she's like, fuck you. And it's like, what girls actually do this? I would never want to know what my boyfriend truly thinks about me. One time, and I will never forget it, because it was the one time Chris weighed in on my looks in a way that might have been, I could take as bad. He one time said, because I was crying about feeling too big in my body, and he said, I like you at this size. I like you in a size where you feel like maybe you're too thin. I liked you even at the size when you were doing Nikki and Sarah Live, which was like 7 years prior to this conversation. And I don't know what the fuck that meant. That could have meant I was really skinny, or it could have meant I was a big lady. I don't know, but I will never forget it, ever. And there was something wrong with my body back then that he was like, I even liked you then. And it wasn't, he was saying the best thing I could have heard then. But of course, my crazy mind has tattooed that on my amygdala.
Well, no, because it's implying that other people did it.
And I don't know. I didn't ask for clarification. I didn't go, wait, what was with my body back then? I didn't want to know.
Right. It just sounds like it was radically different from what's happening.
I don't read comments. I don't want any feedback because it's only going to make me feel worse.
Agree.
I guess.
Don't open the door to something. I remember my friend saying years ago, she was like, God, I made a mistake. I was pregnant and I promised myself I was never going to ask my husband, do I look fat, or ever like open the door to commenting on my body. That's just not going to be a thing. And then I had an insecure day around my 4th or 5th month. And I said to him, do you think I look fat? And I wish I had never made that an okay topic, because then periodically throughout my pregnancy, he would make little jokes or whatever, or like comment on my body. And I hate it. This is a person with no eating disorder or any body dysmorphia either. She's like the most normal girl. And she was like, it was so annoying and it was my own fault. So I remembered that. And I've tried to always kind of keep that a rule for myself. Like, don't open the door to like giving Matt permission to comment on my looks or anything. It's like, that's not a topic for you or me.
It's not. Yeah. Chris says I'm hot, and he'll say stuff like, recently I've been feeling bad and about my, just feeling uncomfortable in my skin. And the other day he was just like, I'm sorry. I was like naked, and he just goes, I'm sorry. What could you want to change? I don't even know. It was very nice. He was just like, what? You're perfect. And I was like, it's the morning. I'm very thin in the morning. I was like, wait. And then yesterday he was like, and you're right. Like you said yesterday, like in the morning, you're always thinner. He was like, I feel that way for myself. And I was like, wait, are you confirming that I am thinner in the morning? And then I but I spun it. He wasn't saying that at all. Right. He was just saying, oh, it's like you said yesterday about like, you look like more shit throughout the day, meaning you, the general you, not you, Nikki Glaser. But it just like, yeah, you can't win. Do you get into those with Allie, Brian?
I don't know if it's a men-women thing, because like when I gained 20 pounds and I've been working that off leading up to the wedding. And rather than asking Allie how I look, I would just walk around the house going, I'm a fat piece of shit. And then I would tap my belly. I would hit my belly, and look how big my fucking belly is. I'm a fat piece of shit. And she'd go, stop saying that. Stop saying that about yourself. Like, no, but I am. I'm a fat piece of shit. And now I've lost some of the weight, so I don't say it anymore. But that's what I would do. I don't know if that's because I'm a man.
Chris also, I mean, I can't speak for how he experiences this, but I'll try. I'll try to speak for exactly how he feels. He loves when I do that. When he has gained weight, which he will admit to, he doesn't care. He's just like, it's just an amazing difference between, I think, and this is not all men. First of all, I know men suffer with eating disorders almost as much as women do now. So it's, don't think that I'm blanket statementing this, but he looks at when he's gained weight, he's just like, I just gotta like be better and just like change it. And like, it's just like, and his stomach can be like if my stomach is folding over anything, like ever, if my pants are too tight, I will want to rip off my skin. Like if I'm uncomfortable, I need things to fit properly so that they don't feel like anything's like if I feel the band of my underwear like pulling in, and this is all my own obsession, but I will be mad at myself in the present. Whereas he will say to himself, what I imagine he says to himself is like, yeah, I need to fix this. I'm gonna tighten things up pretty soon, and I'm gonna like take care of it. And it's not a moral issue. Like it's not like he's a bad person. He's a lazy piece of shit. He can have a little thing of like, oh God, I went too hard. And there's a little bit of disappointment maybe in himself for how he's been eating, but it's not like the end of the fucking world. And there is a future in which he gets it together. Whereas I think it just stops with the present for me. This is what in the past doesn't even matter of when I've gotten it together in the past. It's like, this is what I am now, and I'm in this, and there's no like, and I'm trying to do that more of like, I just need to, tighten things up. Like, I just need to like start, doing a little bit better instead of like, you are bad right now. You're a piece of shit. Like that's do you
but you're
even
also,
the way you're talking about like, I'm a fat piece of shit. I've never done that of like, look at this. Like that's almost like jovial and fun. Like that's having fun with it. I mean, you're saying a piece of shit and I don't like that, but you're at least like, you're just like,
I'm having a good time.
Yeah, you're having a good time.
But I'm not getting judged.
It's not heavy.
I'm not getting judged like you are. I'm not getting judged on how I look. And
it's a different system.
It's just my shirt. I'm really upset because my shirt doesn't fit right. But that's about where it ends. Like no one's telling me I can't have a job because I'm like 20 pounds heavier.
Yes.
No one's telling us that either, but it's implied. They're not. They won't say it specifically unless you're a model, but it is implied. You can read between the lines. I have to say, it's even more annoying. You wish they would just say it because you know it's true, but you don't.
Wouldn't that be nice if they just said it? They said, "Listen, you're too ugly for this job." So
they used to tell actresses, "You got to lose 20 pounds to play this role in the Avengers," and then what happens? But the truth is, sorry, this Avenger wouldn't be 20 pounds overweight. Like, is that should be okay for them to say, but it's not. I mean, I'm not saying it's okay to body shame women and make them go be anorexic to, look like Storm or whoever she's trying to portray. But I think it's gone too much the other way too. Of like, I don't know. Sometimes there is an aesthetic that you want for your fashion show or whatever, and like if you want all anorexic models, that's your prerogative. You're the artist. Like. Mm-hmm.
And we can boycott you if we want to too.
And we don't have to. Well, we can't wear you because we're not size zeros. Right. But like we can hate you for it, and you can hate us for being fat or whatever it is. Like, but at the same time, I also love like fat people included in fashion shows and stuff like that. That always makes me feel really good and happy. And so I don't know. I'm kind of stuck between. I'm all over the place.
But I see what you're saying.
With me is
you want to have more of an attitude that Chris has toward himself when he's going through something, like a little weight gain. You want to have that kind of forgiveness and extend it to yourself, or some jovial element.
Just like a lightness about it of like, because he'll even say to me, because he knows that I get into eating disorder brain. And when I hear him say, I got to be better about my food, I hear that as, I'm going to start starving myself and I'm going to be a dick to be around because I think about myself when I'm starving and I'm a bitch. So I think, oh great, my boyfriend is going to be in a bad mood. He's going to be hungry and tired all the time because he has to go on a diet to fix what he fucked up. But for him, it's like, no, I just have to like eat more vegetables and go to the gym more. It's like, it's not this like...
This is all tied together. This makes sense with everything you've been talking about.
Really?
Yeah, because when you talk
Tell
about
my therapist, will you guys get in a chat together?
I'll send her an email. I talk to her frequently already, but I'll send her an extra email. No, because you talk about playing the guitar and how if it's not good enough, then you just want to quit. It's the same thing with your body. It's a perfectionist tendency, and you would rather quit. You would rather rip off your skin than be seen not good in the eyes of other people.
Yes.
And also not being perfect.
What does that mean? What does it mean if I'm overweight? What does that mean to me? What does that mean to other people? For some reason, I like to piece that apart because what's the harm? I think that people will see my depression. For me, it's like they'll see that I'm like, I equate when I gain weight, it's because I'm out of control. Mm-hmm. I'm depressed. My emotions are fucking rampant and I'm probably kind of suicidal not because I'm fat, but because I'm eating too much. I'm regulating my emotions with food and they can see through that. Even though I'm telling you it most of the time that I'm feeling depressed or whatever, for some reason, me having control of the narrative that way, as opposed to you looking at me and secretly going like, that's what I was getting to. Anya was worried that people were talking about her behind her back about her teeth. Her biggest fear was people... I want to be able to control the narrative about like, guys, I've gained weight recently. Guys, I'm depressed. I don't want you to go like, have you guys noticed that Nikki's arms are looking a little like that is my biggest fear. Why? Who gives a fuck? But that is our biggest fear.
Yeah,
right, Anya?
I was fearing that Matt was like, her teeth are kind of beaver buck tooth. But I'm not going to tell her because I love her and she probably can't change it. You know, that's what I
Yes.
thought. Or that
They're
you were
harboring
like,
some
oh
sort of-
God, they are kind of big, but it's fine. It's too late. She can't get her old ones back. I'll just be nice.
No, I was like, they look like Taylor Swift's and I'm jealous.
And then I was worried my dentist was going to be annoyed. Like, Jesus Christ, here comes this high maintenance bitch that's been in 4 times this last month.
That's nothing. I go
I know,
4 times
Brian's-
a month.
Really?
Oh yeah, if my dentist has me on a list. She says she has written in her notes that no other person at her practice is allowed to talk to me.
What?
Because
Why?
I've been there so often. Because I'm full of problems and they can't explain it, and I have psychosomatic
Why can't they talk
issues.
to you?
And I keep getting surgical interventions that don't work.
Because
and
if
they're-
they talk to him, they might say something that will
Might
set off a
trigger
thing that he needs to
Oh,
fix.
God.
Yeah.
Wait, and
This
she
is
told you
exactly-
that?
She wrote it down in the notes, and then I went one time to the dentist, and she
Well,
and
he
my
asked where the bathroom was to someone, and they wouldn't even look at him, and he's starting to suspect things.
So he looked in the online portal and it's like, patient is insane.
my dentist that can talk to me was on a trip to Italy, and I made an appointment, and I went in with teeth pain, and the dentist came in. She looked at me, and I was like, "Well, can you help me with this?" And then she said, "Sure, I can help you with this." She went out of the room, looked at the notes, came back in, and she said, "I'm sorry, I cannot help you." And she left the room, and then she sent in a receptionist to play interference.
That
Oh
is so
my
fucked
God.
up.
Yes.
You were in pain. So
But
no one helped
it's
you?
Not.
No, it's in his head, and they knew that this woman is correct. She's protecting Brian
She's a
from
good dentist.
his own self.
She's like, don't-
yes.
Maybe they're afraid
Yes.
you're going to
And you know what your doctor should have said is, I'm not weighing in on your teeth. It is not in my jurisdiction, and I'm not to give you advice. They should know their lane. But it's like,
I
okay,
said to
we
the
got to take a break.
Yeah, okay.
We're gonna come back. We're gonna help some people because I
Yes.
think we have some advice to give in our Fanthrax,
We're
and we're gonna get
experts.
to Fanthrax today. Don't even think we won't. We'll be right back with your calls after this. All right, we're back, and we're talking to Brian because we're not at his dentist's office, and we're allowed to. Brian, let's do Fanthrax.
After this episode, I can't. It's up to you. Disclaimer: it's up to you whether or not to take our advice. After
Yeah,
what we
okay.
all just talked about.
I mean, yeah, I think we're set to give some. We just, I go to you guys for advice. Noah's been quiet. She's the best advice giver.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm the best, but I try.
You are one of the best. Empathetic, understanding.
Compassionate.
You do the thing where you you repeat back to the person what they're worried about and confirm you're not crazy for feeling this way. And then you offer advice in a gentle way that always makes me feel seen and hopeful. You're very good at it. Very good
Or
at it.
sometimes
We're
she's
very
like,
lucky to have
what
you.
a mess.
You're a wreck. He's
wreck.
a wreck.
Excellent compliment, by the way. Excellent, specific, honest compliment. Sometimes people are shitty at compliments. I read a book about this. That's a good compliment.
I think I'm very good at
Yeah, you're
compliments.
so good at
I will
complimenting.
compliment myself in that way.
just
Thank you,
complimented you.
Nikki. Oh, yeah, Brian, thank you. Actually, yeah, I'm sorry I took that away from you and gave it to myself from you. Thank you for that compliment. All right, let's get to Fanthrax. Thank you, Avi. All right, who do we have?
Well, I wanted to read a quick Fanthrax that we got on Instagram from Caitlin. So she listened to Not Horseworthy when Julie was on the pod
Yes.
talking about her concussions. And she goes, and Nikki's, okay. So I just listened to the recent episode with Nikki's mom and couldn't believe she was called Pig Woman. My dad is one of 8 and his sister was also called Pig Woman by her siblings.
Whoa.
Curious if that's a generational thing. My dad and his siblings were born in the 50s through 60s.
Yes, same. My mom's born in 59. Wow.
Pig woman is
Interesting.
all the
They need
rage.
to meet.
That must have been some kind of comic book character
Yeah.
or something.
Pig woman? I think
Yeah.
they should have they should meet up, and all the pig women of America should have a
I
meeting.
can't believe my mom made it out alive, and I am as normal as I am, and she is as
Are
normal
you?
as she is. To be yeah. Chris is like, I even loved you when you were a pig. I mean, when you're whatever size you are.
Okay, so I have some information about pig woman. Apparently, apparently in New Jersey in 1922, a man and a woman were murdered next to and their bodies were found next to a tree, and the prosecution's star witness was named the Pig Woman.
What?
Oh my God.
Yes, her real name was Jane Gibson, who lived in the neighborhood. And
why was she nicknamed the Pig Woman? Do we have any?
She was
well,
born
I haven't
in the
read
50s.
I haven't read the whole thing, but the prosecution told the jury that the Pig Woman was dying and wished to get the real story off her conscience. Why is she a pig woman? It doesn't say. It just says she was known as the Pig Woman.
What the hell? This sounds like an episode of Perry Mason.
She was a witness to a murder.
Okay. I'm guessing she took care of pigs. No one would call someone. Actually, in the 20s,
right.
who knows?
She had a farm.
Okay, let's get to
some voicemails. Here's the first one from Molly.
Do you have advice on what to do when you develop feelings for a friend and they're like a best friend and you hang out all the time and
I do.
you just have these feelings that have built and you just they're just boiling out, you just want to tell them, but you're also so scared of, it's like if it doesn't last or end up in a relationship, there's always that weird layer added to your friendship and you can't go back. And I don't know, man. Advice. Help.
Oh.
Just please help.
Oh,
yeah, girl.
She's so sweet.
Oh, man. So sweet. I bet he has a crush on you, too. I mean, most of the time it is reciprocal.
I was getting turned on just listening to her voicemail for some reason.
Great voice. Yeah, you know why? Because it's so awesome having a crush.
Yes.
Especially one that you get to be around all the time and they don't know it. Molly, as much as this is hard, something's either going to happen with this guy or not going to happen. Nothing will ever feel as good as having a crush feels. Nothing will light you up inside. Not eternal love, not fun, not your wedding day, not casually dancing on the dance floor with your betrothed. Nothing will ever feel as good, not heroin, no drug can ever make you feel this way. I'm jealous. I'm honestly jealous because I will never have this again. If I am with Chris the rest of my life, I'll never have this unrequited or seemingly hope that it could be requited crush.
You're filled with hope and possibilities. It's exactly what you're talking about.
And they could like you back. It's so good. It's and once you find out if they like you, it's fine. It's not as good as not knowing.
Then you learn their flaws.
Yes, and then you get bored and then you both like each other. It's this mystery that feels so good. So as uncomfortable it is, know that it is just a great feeling and really fun. And you will someday hear someone talk about it and feel the same way I do, which is Anya's making a face I
am?
No.
Well,
yeah, you were kind of making a face I don't think I remember liking that feeling so much. Because you used to
my crushes, I always remember being I know why this is called a crush. Because it hurts.
Poetic.
It's just there's so much tension there.
I love it.
Having a
part of your
crush.
Having crushes.
thing. It's I won't let myself have it. I'm going to enjoy the hunger. And I'm always I want the meal.
One?
Having a crush is being in a eternal state of anticipation.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. It's Christmas Eve forever. And that's what I like. I don't like Christmas. I like Christmas Eve. I don't like June 1st, my birthday. I like May 31st. It's better than my birthday.
Yes.
I don't like June 2nd. It's the worst. I don't have, I love being in my relationship, but I love when we miss each other and we're about to see each other first time. That's all the good stuff.
That's true.
And I'm not wrong because studies have been done and your dopamine levels rise. If you're going out to eat and you ordered food that you're really excited about, it's rising. Oh, you see it coming, the waiter's bringing it, peaking. You take your first bite, plummet. That's when it starts to go down. And you think you're no, this is the most enjoyable part. It's not plummeting, but it's descending from that first bite on.
But
it's
you got to give her advice.
right before the first bite.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just saying.
I have I have pitches. I have two pitches of what she could try to do. One thing she could try to do is say that she is looking to go date. She's getting on the apps or whatever, and she wants to get his advice. And then she can kind of feel out how he feels about giving her advice. If
I'm guessing Molly has already tried this.
Tried this?
I mean, isn't that the first in your toolbox of mentioning another guy you think is cute or something?
Worked for Julie Glaser.
I feel like there is some sort of. I could be wrong, but I think that is great advice. You test the waters to see if they get a little jealous.
You gotta test the waters.
It's the worst when they don't.
And oh God, Anya has a whole song about it.
I have a whole life about it.
Notice Me, Anya's song "Notice Me" is a really good song to listen to, Molly. Because it's, even though she was sleeping with that person who who she was just friends with. That's the worst, is when you're hooking up with a friend casually and you love them and they don't feel the same
and
way
I'm
back.
Like, any day, brutal. It's been 5 years. Any day, he's gonna want to be my boyfriend.
What are some pitches? What about
pitches, doing that thing where you say, if we're both single in 10 years, we'll get married, and see how he reacts to that?
Okay, I'm not crazy about that one because it's too forward. I think what I've done, because I've been this girl many times, and Molly, I think you probably know he likes you back, but you're like waiting for the next shoe to drop, because I don't think you would even call in and have hope if you didn't kind of know he liked you, right? But maybe not. Maybe he totally sees you as a friend. I think that no guy hangs out with a girl constantly as a best friend unless there's some kind of vibe there.
Ding dong.
Yes. Unless they have a girlfriend already, and then you guys are like have this, because I've had best friends that are guys and like,
is he a guy? Is it a girl? We don't know. It's just her friend.
Okay, yeah. I think it's a guy, but I could be wrong. Maybe I'm just injecting that into it, but okay, whatever. So the person is
probably a guy.
Probably are like
I have the answer. I know what to do.
Great. Okay,
so first thing, what we all know not to do, 100% do not do this. Do not get this person a gift or something like that.
Don't bake anything.
What you should do is, for the next month, start acting aloof.
Yep.
Brian's right.
Maybe you can't hang out so often. Maybe you're just a little bit busy. Don't bring anything up specific.
Opposite of what you want to do.
Yes. And then over time, you might see him start pursuing. He'll start to get a little nervous. He'll start pulling his collar.
Go on dates.
Go on a date. Don't even tell him.
Start scheduling dates, and don't even, no, do tell him, but be casual about it. But schedule dates just for the, like, because I know when I really am in love with someone, I don't want to go on dates with other guys. Like, I know who I like.
Yep.
But you just do it for him.
Here's another thing. Dress up. Look cute. Look hot. Every time you see them.
Skin. Touch your hair a lot.
And don't
feminine
act like
energy.
You're dying to hang out. Like, don't be desperate.
And if you want to just like cut to the chase, and this is what I've done every single time with guys I think every single guy I've ever had anything with, I was friends with first. Maybe not every one of them, but 90%. And this doesn't work because I never ended up with any of them, but I did end up dating some of them. I've told this before. You'll be hanging out as friends, just casually. And you go, oh my God, I forgot to tell you. And they go, what? And you go, I like you. And you just make it seem so casual. And you go, I like you. And they're like, they'll start to like laugh, and you're like, yeah, oh my God, I forgot. Like, I like you. I think we should like make out. Like, you just say it like it's nothing.
Yep, I've done that. And it's funny. Should we make out?
Then it's funny. Yeah, you just go, oh my God, you know what I was just thinking? And they're like, wait, what? Like, you want to see a movie or something? Like, you'll think you have like an idea, and you just go, we should make out. And they're like, it will be funny. And so they'll laugh first, and then that kind of cuts the tension.
I don't know hate that, but that can work with a very passive guy, I think, who cannot make the first move. But I have had experience. Well, let me say one thing first. Here's the good news. You cannot have, according to all these big thinkers and philosophers, you cannot have attraction
to someone who doesn't have attraction to you. Is that right?
Yes.
It has to go both ways. But what about all the times that you've like longed for someone and they didn't like you back?
Right. It doesn't mean they're going to do anything about it, or they're serious, or they're a great partner. But if you're feeling an attraction, you're not crazy. There's a vibe. And maybe that person's throwing out
people before that definitely weren't attracted to me. Were they?
I think it's more than like wanting to fuck them.
Oh, okay.
Like,
never mind.
Like,
feeling a sparkle.
I wanted to fuck lots of people, and they don't want to fuck me at all.
When you're feeling like, is there something here? There probably is, but it doesn't mean they're great for you. I had it happen once with a friend who I would never, ever, ever thought of as attractive. And I couldn't believe it when it happened. But I did want to hang out with them all the time. And we were hanging out a lot and we were very good friends. And then one night I was like, not even crushing on them at all. And they were like, let's go to a speakeasy. And we were hanging out and just talking. And I don't know what happened. I was like, God, I'm cold in this place. It's freezing.
Oh, I'm a little cold because I just wore a little dress.
And he's like, you're always cold. And he's
skin.
Yep. It's something happened where I had some vulnerability and I'm usually the alpha with this relationship, but I wasn't that night. I had my period. I hadn't showered in 2 days. I had greasy hair. I was throwing out some kind of weird pheromone. I didn't care about them at all. And
That's all alpha moves right there, what you just described.
It is?
Yeah, you're like the total alpha. You're giving off your hormones. You don't give a shit.
He was like, let's go for a drink.
This person that you're talking about likes alpha women. So I think that
and he was like,
Brian's not far off.
Let's go for a drink. And I'm like, no, I'm tired. I want to watch Real Housewives. And he's like, get out of your house. Let's go for a drink. Meet me. I'm bored. Let's go for a drink. I'm like, fine. I was just like so cranky. I mean, this is the way you want to be. I wish I liked this person at the time. And then we go, I'm cold. Next thing I know, he puts his jacket on me, or I like somehow we're like closer together than usual. And then I don't know what the fuck happened. And he looked at me weird and I looked at him weird. And then I think he said, should we kiss? And I was like, ew, no.
Oh, no.
And then I was like, no way. And then he's like, I think we should. And I was like, you do? We're like friends. And he's like, I think we should kiss. And then we kissed, and it was like 20 minutes of, I looked up when we were done with the kiss. I came up for air, and the entire bar that was full was empty, and they were closing down. I'm like, how did I lose at least 20 minutes of my life? And it was like an amazing kiss and a disaster of the next few months of my life. But it was so fun to just like have this weird thing happen with a friend.
And are you friends now, or?
Yeah, we're friends now. We came out of it. It had to happen. We were hanging out too much, too often. And, you know, we're not that close anymore, but like I consider them, you know, an acquaintance. And it's sort of like, it's like, are you really going to have a zit on your face for 3 weeks? It's like a whitehead and you're never going to pop it. That's how I look at it. Like it's got to blow at some point.
Yes.
But do incremental. You got to.
I remember the whole thing of like, what if we ruin the friendship? I'm like, fuck the friendship.
Nikki
My
kept going,
pussy's wet.
he's not your friend.
We got a situation down here. I'm uncomfortable every time we hang out.
I remember that. And you were like, piso mojado.
I don't care about our dumb friendship. I remember he looked so sad when I said that to him.
Yeah.
He really seemed bummed. And to tell you the truth, we don't have a friendship anymore because I got my heart broken and I was a bitch about it. And so he will never trust me or really be my friend again. And I did ruin the friendship because you can't really go back. Anya, you'll never be as close to that person as you were. You can't go back. So that you are running that risk, Molly, but it doesn't sound like there's any other option. You got to pop that zit.
Well, take the steps first. Take the steps before you get to the thing where you just come out and say it. Take the steps. Do the aloof for a month.
I want to hear an update.
Yeah.
I'm sure this voicemail is old because we haven't done these in a while. Can you tell us an update of what has happened since? Because I know that you didn't wait for us to give you advice. Something has happened. You were chomping at the bit, girl.
Like,
and if all else fails, play him this podcast and go, do you want to hear a podcast? And then that's how you can tell him. Even though I don't think that works except on TikTok. You see people be like, point to your crush in the car, and they'll like point to the guy, and the guy's like, really? And then they start making out and they live happily ever after. Have you seen those? Okay, let's get to the next Fanthrax.
Okay, here's a very cute voicemail from Katherine.
Nikki, I have been a bestie since your not safe days.
Oh my God.
And it has been so interesting to grow with you.
Aww.
I loved the Not Safe podcast so much that I even listened to Brian's Alien podcast. Bring it back, Brian. And in that time, I had just graduated high school, and I loved your and Chris's relationship, and I would often compare it to my own. And now, years later, the guy that I was seeing then and I are back together,
Whoa.
just as you and Chris are back together. And here I am again listening to your podcast with Brian as I'm again about to graduate, this time with my master's.
Yeah.
It just feels like I've been zipped back to the summer of 2016, and I love this weird parallel cycle that we're on. And I can't wait to see where it takes us. All of my love, Bestie.
Aw, that's so sweet.
I love you so much. Holy fuck.
God.
That really touched me.
Me too.
What about
Thank you
me?
so much.
You haven't listened to any of my shit.
I'm sure
Okay,
she
Anya.
would.
Oh, where's our journey? I want to talk about our relationship.
I'm sure it's just off with you guys right now. Just like it's off and on.
That's so
no,
sweet.
that is so freaking sweet, and it means so much to me because I have been around long enough now that I have fans from so many different stages, and they'll be like, I know you from Nikki and Sarah days. I know you from Not Safe days. I know you from, Last Comic Standing days. Like, I had a fan, Charlie Fields, come to my show in Vegas. Like, no, it was the Phoenix, or no, sorry, Tucson. And he was my first fan ever. He found me from Last Comic Standing, season 4, 2000. It was 2006. And I have another fan from that time too, Matt, who we text still. And it's just like so cool to like grow up with people. And I it's so cute to me when people say like, I watched Nikki and Sarah in high school and now they're like adult children, adult people. It's really special. And I love that you're off and on again with your person. And, yeah, and there's no shame in being off and on again. I say a joke in my act that Chris and I have been off and on for 10 years and it always gets a laugh. And I'm like, that's the setup, you guys. Like, that's just the facts. It always gets a laugh. And I'm like, what is so funny about that? What is wrong with people that like stay together or like that, not that stay together the whole time. Nothing wrong with that. Good for you. That break up and never get back together. I don't understand it. I don't get it. Final thought.
It's like you have a lot of resilience to you. I think it's cool that you guys obviously,
People can break up and not get back together. I don't get it. You once spent every let's say you lived with the person. You once lived with this person. They were your everything. You said, I love you. You had hopes and dreams of spending your whole future together. Then one day you break up and you don't talk at all anymore. And the best case scenario, you're like trying to be friends. And we all know how that goes. It doesn't really work. You're co-parenting or whatever. I don't have the strength for it. I am so in awe of people that can seemingly do the thing that everyone does, which is break up forever. I don't understand how you could do that. And every time Chris and I break up and I do think, okay, this could be forever, I don't even let myself entertain that. I can only break up because I know we have the ability to get back together at some point. That's the only reason I can break up, if that makes sense. Have you guys gotten back together with people you've broken up with?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh my God. I mean, I did in high school. My first ever girlfriend, she was 2 years older than me, and she kind of like scooped me up out of obscurity to date me.
Was that her dance move?
That was her dance move, the scoop.
You had the punch and she had the scoop.
This is like, and then she, one day I found out that she had given a blowjob to her ex-boyfriend because she felt like the explanation was she felt like she owed him one because of all the time they spent
in high school
together.
That fucking makes sense somehow, like that was probably enough to make you go, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure you accepted that on some level.
And I was high school brokenhearted, and I was playing music as so loud that my dad was like, can you just,
what was your song back then to help you?
I was listening to Red Hot Chili Peppers, I think.
Okay.
Sometimes I feel like I don't have a partner. Okay.
Yes.
And
so literal.
Yes. I only listen to literal songs. I'm single now, she sucked his dick and she was his ex, like stuff like that. And then I was very distraught, and then like 6 months later, I just was like, you want to get back together? And then for some reason I was fine with it. And we did. And then we dated for like a whole nother year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think that. I think it's the cool thing to do. I also am someone who's terrified of committing to anything for the rest of my life, and so breaking up forever is just not ever. Like the song "We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together" could never say that to someone because it's just too. I would have to start the grieving process, and I'm not going to do that.
Haven't you ever reached the level of like yuck with someone? That's what happens to me. I'm like, ooh, you're giving me the yucks. Like I can't ever picture us.
Yes.
Ever being physical again. I'm done. Goodbye forever.
Yes. But but I don't know. There's a part of me that says like, maybe like even when I move out of apartments that I'll never move into again, there's a part of me that's like, I could go back if I wanted.
Oh, I could definitely go back to every apartment I've ever lived in. This is
the point. That's the point I want to make. It's not that I want them back. I at least want the option. And so I don't know. It's like I always felt with Chris like if I really want to make this work, and not that he's just like someone that will just take me back whenever, because it certainly was not that way. I just always knew if I wanted it, we could make it happen. And that's another thing. Like Chris and I have not been easy. It's not been easy. And all you hear from couples about how they knew when they knew is that it was easy. It was finally easy. Shut the fuck up. I don't relate to that at all. It doesn't make me feel good. It doesn't make me feel hopeful. My relationship has been a struggle. There are times when it's easy, and that's fucking great, but it was not easy. And you know what? Neither was my career that I love so much. Neither was having neither was like getting into shape or learning a guitar. None of it's been easy. All these things that brought me immense joy. None of it's easy. I've enjoyed the pain. Because it makes me appreciate Taylor Swift songs more. It makes me so much happier. Because Chris has even said before when we've been breaking up, and I've been like, please, let's just like go to therapy and like we can work through this. Like we've worked through harder. There's been times where he has said like, do you ever just think like we're just trying to make something work that isn't working? And that it's just time to maybe give up. He said that before, and like, you know, times where there was no really hope, and that we had to overcome a lot of stuff, and a lot of stuff was said. We pulled a real Shiv and Tom Wamsgams last episode, if you know what I'm talking about, where we cleared the air and things are said and there's no resolution. We're just had all this dirty stuff out there, and it's felt like. And I go, look at all this. We can now clean this up because we see it, right? And he's gone, no, this is too much. And I've always said, but when we overcome a really hard time where we both want to like call it quits and we make it past that, I feel so much cooler and better about my relationship because we can withstand anything if we were able to get through this. And it makes me feel, not that it's like that's what I should wish for everyone to have, like just hard times in a relationship, but now when stuff comes up with Chris, I'm like, well, that's nothing. Like we've already dealt with way harder than that. And I think that, you know, every relationship is going to face those hurdles, whether it happens within your relationship or circumstantial things outside of it. But it's, for me, I don't like when people say it's going to be easy. You'll know because it's easy. It just has never been easy with him and I. And unless it is. When it is, it's great. When we're on the couch and we're like, but now I think we could handle anything.
Yeah,
because of what we've been through.
I feel like all the fights that I've been through, like the big ones with Matt, they've all really made us closer and more committed. Of course, in the moment, it sucks. But I don't think we would have been as solid if we hadn't seen those dark times. Wonder what's going to happen with Tom and Shiv.
Oh my God.
I can't take it.
It's not good. Watched it last night with Anya. Watched it the night. I'm
going to watch it again
tonight.
I watched
it twice. I watch every episode twice because they're masterpieces. And I could watch it again tonight and analyze it because there's things you catch.
Brian?
But
Noah?
Brian has no idea what we're talking about.
Okay.
I know the names of the characters.
Oh yeah, Tom and Shiv.
I know their relationship from season 1.
Oh yeah. Well, let's just say no one on this show is a good person.
Of course.
They're all self-serving. They're all just, but you root for some of them because you know what? None of us are good people. Humans, who just said it? I was just listening to
Kendall.
No, it wasn't Kendall. I was listening to something.
Andrew
I know.
Tate.
God, no. This was a really good quote. Where was it, Anya? I think I was sharing it with you guys.
Yeah, humans are gonna. They're bad people.
People are the worst humans. Or humans are the worst people. Was that it? Was that Succession?
I thought it was Kendall.
It's a quote from something I just heard. Yeah, I've always said humans are the worst people. No, it was some podcast I was listening to. And I think it was the last days of August, this suicide podcast I've been listening to. But humans are the worst people. And it's true. Like, and this is why I'm so upset. Well, final thought on this Taylor Swift, Matt Healy thing. If you are someone out there who's like, Matt Healy's problematic and we don't want our girlie dating him.
Why is he problematic?
Blondie deserves better. Because a number of things. Okay. He once made out with one of his audience members who had a sign that said, "Will you be my first kiss?" And he didn't check to see if she was legal. Turns out she was, but he didn't check. Problematic. Yeah. Another one was he was on a podcast and someone did an impression of an Asian voice and he laughed. Problematic. Another time was he used the R word. And then when he apologized, he used the R word again to say, "I'm sorry for saying the R word." Problematic.
Okay, none of these are big yet.
Any one of you Swifties out there who are so up in arms about our girl, our Blondie, dating this problematic dude, look at who you date. Think about the guys you date. Do you think none of them have drunkenly said something racist to their friends? Not that I think that's okay, but do you think they've never, sped in a school zone or called their mom a cunt to her face or maybe fingered a girl on a dance floor when she didn't really want it? Whoa. Of course your drunken idiot boyfriends have done that shit.
You think none of them ever held a sniper rifle up to a North Korean child and forced him to play guitar?
I'm just saying, no one's perfect. And even if your boyfriends, your perfect Mormon, perfect, pristine boyfriends never did any of that shit, they've at least thought some fucked up shit. No one is perfect. Leave her alone. She's allowed to date whoever the fuck she wants. Did it ever occur to you that she doesn't owe you or me anything? It doesn't matter who she dates. It doesn't matter what you think, the person you think she should date, that she's letting her fans down by associating with someone who once liked a tweet from J.K. Rowling or whatever the fuck you have it in your head that she's now associated with a problematic person. And by the way, problematic is the most problematic term I've ever heard in my fucking life. Stop using problematic because it's this 10th term that you can use that can expand between liking someone's tweet of someone that once said the N-word jokingly, and that you're problematic because you liked a tweet of theirs 3 years later, and you don't know that 3 years prior they used the N-word in a joke, or they sang along to a rap song once and said the N-word. You're problematic for liking their tweet. So that can mean problematic, that you liked a tweet of someone who is problematic, or it can mean that you firebombed a synagogue
marathon,
right? Like it's that's what problematic can be. So you can just make this blanket statement about Matt Healy being problematic. You don't know any of the facts, and when you do, they all list out like you're just what? Who do you want her to date? Because the Dalai Lama just made out with a kid. So anyone who seems to be so pious and pure for our dear Taylor Swift, she's allowed to date whoever she wants. You're never going to like whoever she dates. You know why? You know why you're never going to like who she dates? Because you want to date her. Yeah. Because you are in love with her, just like I am. And you want her to all to yourself. Joe wasn't good enough for her at the beginning either. You're jealous. And you're jealous not only of the person that she's dating because you can't have her and you want to be Matt Healy and you can't be? No, I'm not gay. Yes, you are. You're gay for Taylor. You know you are. Anyone who's getting on Reddit and going, he's problematic, here's why. Oh my God, Joe, please come back and save her. Oh my God, a third plane hit the Swiftie Towers. Matt Healy's at her concert. Whatever you're saying, these are the things I'm reading. You're obsessed with her. You think she owes you something. She doesn't owe you fucking anything. Anything. And also, you're jealous because she's having fun and you're in a loveless marriage. You're in a relationship that's boring. Or it's love. You have lots of love. Let's say I love my partner, Nikki. You don't know what you're talking about. Okay, but it's not as exciting as the sex Taylor's having right now, and you fucking know it. And you'll never have that again because you can only have that sex in the beginning of a relationship. So you see your girl out there having so much fun, and you're jealous. You're jealous she's with someone else that isn't you, and you're jealous she's having fun. And that in your life is miserable, and you know the person that you're with has done way more problematic things if you combed through everything he ever tweeted or ever said or ever thought. Just just as much as Matt Healy did. Matt Healy's not a bad person. He's a guy who drank a lot and does dumb shit. He's a rock star who's been enabled by fans who love him. You would do the same shit if you were him. And he's apologized for everything he's done. So shut up. Shut up. And just remember, Taylor Swift owes you nothing. Nothing. She doesn't owe you doing a 3-hour concert in the rain, but she gave you that. We think that I get under the impression that she owes me something, but she owes you nothing. She can date whoever she wants. She can date Kanye if she wants. It doesn't matter. It's not connected to her music. Chill the fuck out. And you know what, Nikki, you should chill the fuck out too. I know, I'm about to stop. Okay, so thank you for listening to the podcast. That is my final thought on Matt Healy and Taylor Swift, and that is it. Leave her alone. Let her have fun. Stop being jealous. That's all for now. Thank you for listening to the show. I need to catch my breath and have a cigarette.
Damn.
And don't be cat. And just leave her alone and let her have fun.